Hello, welcome to the Roy Rogers News Channel. Thank you for watching. I'm getting some shock therapy today. I guess I was a little bit energetic in that intro. Hello, welcome to the Roy Rogers News Channel. Thank you for watching. Blue Breath is going to be battling against Scrunchy, so let's go ahead and wait for that battle to ensue. So we will be right back. Alright, we're back and we are at turn number 1. Shock Therapy, UU. And I hope I don't get shocked during this commentary like I did in my intro. I do not want you all to end up like that. Alright, on a serious note, Blue Breath vs Scrunchy. Alright, I'm going to assume that Armaldo, I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly, is going to switch out. There we go. Into 420, which is a Vileplume. Azumarill is going to go for a Waterfall. And I'm going to guess that this is probably... I assume that was Bandit. Alright, so Crobat's going to come in just to wall off Vileplume's Sludge Bomb or Giga Drain. If Vileplume did do a Giga Drain, Crobat would have walled it. And if Vileplume would have done a Sludge Bomb, then Crobat would also wall it as well. So Crobat's going to go directly for the Super Fang, which Vileplume is going to strike back by going directly for a Hidden Power. Hidden Power seems to take very neutral damage to Crobat, and Crobat's going to go instantly for the taunt. But I'm going to guess that Armaldo's going to do something epic here. Okay, Rock Blast. However, thanks to Quagsire's typing, Rock Blast didn't really do as much. I'm going to assume that Armaldo is going to switch into Vileplume again, and Quagsire is probably going to do something. Like an Ice Beam, which is going to be super effective. That's a pretty good Quagsire. I have to say that. So, let's see. Vileplume. What is Vileplume going to do? Vileplume could. Vileplume could do a Giga Drain, but I'm not sure if Blue Breath is going to predict the Crobat to come in. So Quagsire is going to withdraw, and the Crobat is going to come in, and Vileplume, just to be safe, did a Synthesis. Alright, so far all we know about Vileplume is that it has Hidden Power, Sludge Bomb, and Synthesis. We don't know what the fourth move is. It could be Giga Drain, but we don't know. Alright, so there's Super Fang. Vileplume is going to do the Hidden Power, which I'm going to guess that it's probably HP Fire. There's the Heat Wave, which is going to be fatal for Vileplume. Alright, Crobat is going to do a Leftovers Recovery, and Armaldo is going to come in. Now, what is Armaldo going to do? Well, Armaldo could do a Rock Blast, but will Armaldo predict Crobat switching out? We're about to find out. And Armaldo is going to switch into Diglett, which is going to well, not block off, but basically cage off Quagsire. HP Grass, which definitely proves fatal. Nice. So this Diglett is HP Grass. Alright. Talk about Dugtrio's younger brother. I mean, by golly. kind of scared next time when I go near a Diglett, you know? Well, the good news is that if there are a ton of Digletts, that means I won't get shocks all the time. So that's a plus. All right, so Scrunchy's trying to figure out what to go into. I'm thinking a Azumarill. But is Scrunchy going to reveal something? He has just revealed his Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan's gonna probably do a fake out here. Now, I don't know if Diglett's gonna switch or not. Since the surprise is off, I wouldn't be surprised if Diglett switches. Alright. Sorry about that, I have some notes here. So there's Scizor. If you hear some pen marks or pencil marks, it's just me writing some notes here. So Scizor, what is Scizor gonna do? Scizor's gonna switch into another Kangaskhan. Interesting. It looks like a lot of people in UU seem to carry Kangaskhan's. So there's the return. And there's a Toxic. Yeah. I'm seriously thinking that Kangaskhan's gonna switch out, or at least Blue Breath's Kangaskhan's gonna switch. Alright, so far what we know about Scrunchy's Kangaskhan is it has Fire Punch and it has Toxic. We don't know what the other two moves are. If I had to guess, Scrunchy is probably going to... it's kind of hard to tell here, but... I was thinking a switch, but I wasn't sure. So there's the return, which is going to be Kanga's main move, or at least Blue Breath's Kanga's main move, and Crobat took a significant amount of damage from that return. Now, what is Crobat gonna do? Well, Crobat's gonna be withdrawn, and Armaldo is gonna try to wall off the return, which it will do very successfully. I'm predicting that the Kangaskhan, or Blue Breath's Kangaskhan, is probably... he might switch into... I don't know. I'm thinking... probably Scizor? Because Scizor has the... I don't know if Blue Breath's Scizor has superpower on it or not. Oh. Ooh. The Rock Blast sure did prove fatal. Is Scizor gonna come out? I'm not too sure if this Armaldo is banded. Nope, it's not banded. Leftovers recovery. So, yeah, I kind of knew Scizor was going to come out one way or another. So, what is Scizor going to do? Well, Scizor could try to do... I mean, Scizor has a plethora of options here. Scizor could either bulk up and then do a superpower, bulk up Metal Claw, or some sort of bulk up move, although I do think that if Scizor needs raw power, he can always do superpower. What am I talking about? Caesar. No, with the bulk up. I forgot. Caesar has access to Sword Stance. +2 attack right away. Or Steel Wing. But yeah, Caesar just wanted to use some of its raw power. So Azumarill is going to try to do Waterfall and is going to try and make a dent, which the critical hit is going to help out. And Caesar won't be able to debut its power. So Azumarill is going to hammer off Caesar off of Blue Breath's team, and Sceptile is going to come in. Will Sceptile save the day? Well, we're about to find out. Now, most Sceptiles carry Life Ball on them, so I would not be surprised if this Leaf Blade hurts. Even with Crobat. Oh. I guess this isn't a Leaf Blade Sceptile. This is a Giga Drain Sceptile. And it's not a Life Ball Sceptile, which is why I was unable to knock out Crobat. Yeah, it is a Life Ball. Man. I'm looking at the battle log, and it seems so tiny from here. Alright. So Sceptile does have a Life Ball on it, but it didn't have Leaf Blade on it. Let's see the base power for Giga Drain. Alright, so Giga Drain. Alright, so Armaldo's going to switch into Kangaskhan, and Crobat's going to try to knock out either Armaldo or Caesar. Or not Caesar, sorry, Sceptile. Alright, so Giga Drain has a base power of 75, and where's Leaf Blade? Leaf Blade has a base power of 90. So I think I've kind of over-exaggerated a little bit about Leaf Blade knocking out Crobat, though, but it would have done much more of a dent than Giga Drain did if that Sceptile was adamant, and if it had max attack on it and holding Life Ball. Or Choice Band. Alright, so far Blue Breath looks like he's not claiming the match very well. So Armaldo's going to switch into Kangaskhan. And the probabilities are not in Blue Breath's favor. Even though he is making a significant comeback. And I give him a lot of credit for doing that. He's making a really good comeback, especially with Rock Blast. So Azumarill's going to immediately cancel out Armaldo's attempt to claim back the match. Now Sceptile has no opposition, and maybe, just maybe, Blue Breath can win this match. But, oh, that mattered. That mattered. Yeah, Blue Breath's taking this match. Yeah, yep, it's done. Oh. Wow, he just barely survived on that. And I forgot. Let's see. I forgot about Sturdy's activation. Man, I'm usually used to Donphan being knocked out like that, especially with the Giga Drain facing it. But now with the Sturdy update, Pokemon with Sturdy now have a chance to shine. So there you go. If any of you have a Donphan, you might as well use it. Because if you're at the last bit of hope, then don't worry. Sturdy Pokemon will give you a second chance. And on that note, we will be right back. Please stay tuned. Alright, we are back at turn number 2. I'm going to guess that someone has switched into Haunter, and Shuckle hasn't been doing any damage. Alright. There's the Encore. Alright. So there's a knockoff, which did knock off the Life Orb. Alright. Now I don't know what's here though, so that'll kind of hamper my abilities to make predictions, so Haunter's going to do a Sludge Bomb, and assuming that Kangaskhan's going to do Crunch, I would probably say that Haunter's probably going to switch into someone. I can probably take the Crunch. And there we go. Now we know what's there. And Kangaskhan kind of predicted the Cloyster, so there's the Toxic there. So there's some spikes. And Cloyster's hurt by the poison. Tentacruel is probably a Rapid Spinner. Maybe I'm wrong. And there's Clefable. Let's see if Clefable can take the Surf, which it can. Alright. I'm just curious about Clefable's base stat. So there's the Rapid Spin. Clefable's going to do a Seismic Toss. Alright, so HP is 95, which is not bad for a UU Pokemon. Defense is 73, and Special Defense is 90. And it is a UU Pokemon. There we go. Is there a bad one, though? Alright. So what will Kangaskhan do? Well, Kangaskhan has multiple options here. Kangaskhan could either do a... Well, I mean, Kangaskhan could try to do a... Oh. Well, Kangaskhan did have a Toxic, so I was kind of predicting some sort of move. So Tentacruel gonna do an Ice Beam. Let's see. Wow. And Thunderbolt. And since Haunter doesn't have the Life Orb boost, that means that Haunter wasn't able to lock up Tentacruel for good. Alright. So Tentacruel is going to try to do a Surf. And I can safely say that this Tentacruel is a timid Tentacruel, because if it wasn't a timid Tentacruel, then it wouldn't outspeed Haunter. Alright, so Tentacruel is going to switch into Armaldo, and Clefable's going to do a Wish here. I'm going to predict a possible Protect here. Maybe it's a Wish and Switch. Now ZD Fire, he might do... Oh. Alright, so Tentacruel is going to come back, predicting the Haunter. Which Haunter does not come by. But we do know something about Vadim Emporyon's Clefable, and it's that Clefable is that Clefable has Toxic on it. Now I'm going to predict that Clefable is going to switch into Haunter. I guess not. So will Clefable switch into Haunter? And turns out like Clefable is going to switch into Haunter. And Kangaskhan's going to do a Fire Punch, predicting the switch. Nice. Kangaskhan was saving it for the last part. He wanted to pretend like he didn't have anything for Haunter. That was very clever. That put ZD Fire in a little bit of an advantage here in this match. And not only that, but also Crobat has Confuse Ray. Let's see how that's going to turn out. Alright, so will Crobat stay around to... I guess he is. Wow, he's really risking it here. He has to be fortunate that Kangaskhan is confused, because if he wasn't, then otherwise Crobat would be done. And Crobat is done. I didn't think it was smart to have Crobat stay in, because what happens if Kangaskhan recovered from confusion? I think that Empoleon should have went into Cloyster, and he's kind of revealing his cards a little early now. I mean, he has a Manectric, and let me just say that like I said, he's revealing the cards a little early. Usually, I would try to avoid from showing my cards. So, will Manectric do HP Grass? Well, I guess not today. So Clefable's going to come in. Quagsire going to do an Earthquake, and Clefable's going to be hurt by the poison. Leftovers recovery. Alright, so Clefable's going to switch into Hitmonlee. Ooh, Superpower. Ooh. Superpower did prove fatal against a Cloyster. Even with Cloyster's monstrous defense, Superpower was able to break through Cloyster's defense. So, wow. Now, will Zangoose take the match back, or will Hitmonlee will Hitmonlee issue another superpower? So Hitmonlee is going to switch into Armaldo. There's a return. Now I'm going to make a safe guess that Zangoose probably has a choice band on it. So Armaldo's going to issue a super power, which is going to prove fatal. And this time I can say that ZD Fire is going to win. ZD Fire, he's taken the match. He's going to win. He has enormous amount of flexibility. Even with Armaldo out, ZD Fire doesn't technically need Armaldo to sweep. He needs Quagsire. That's what he needs. Manectric's probably going to switch, or probably, if Manectric's been hiding in HP Grass, will probably issue it right now, which it hasn't. But Clefable's going to come in. Quagsire is going to do an Earthquake. Now, I'm going to predict that Quagsire is going to switch into Kangaskhan. Not yet. And Clefable is not going to survive. Yep, ZD Fire has won this match. Everywhere you cut it, or sorry, every way you cut it. There we go. There's the expression. Every way you cut it, ZD Fire is still gonna win. And GG. And even though Manectric did have HP Grass, he still had Kangaskhan technically waiting to sweep out Manectric. So GG. And on that note, we'll be right back for the final match. What's it gonna be? ZD Fire vs Scrunchy. Oh no, no, don't shock me! Ah! Ah! Don't shock me! Ah! Alright, turn number 1. And I'm sorry for the helicopter. But I probably know why the helicopter's up there. It's because this is the final match. ZD Fire vs Scrunchy. Let's see what's about to ensue. I'm going to predict that Tentacruel is going to do a switch. Either that or probably going to do a Surf. You never know what Kangaskhan's going to do. So maybe Tentacruel. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Tentacruel is going to switch into something. Alright, so Tentacruel's going to switch into Scizor. And Kangaskhan's going to go for the return. Alright. So Kangaskhan's going to go into Scrunchy. There's a Steel Wing. Crobat. Alright. I'm going to predict that Scizor is going to switch. Heat Wave, right? Super Fang. He didn't go for the Heat Wave, but you never know. Scrunchy could be hiding a Heat Wave on that Crobat. So Crobat's going to switch into Hypno. Right? Then Tentacruel's going to go straight for the Sludge Bomb. Hypno's going to be poisoned. Alright. Tentacruel's going to switch into Caesar. And Hypno's going to switch into Kangaskhan. Caesar is going to switch into Quagsire. And there's the Fire Punch. Now, does ZD Fire have a Cleric on his team specifically for burns? That we don't know. And there's the Ice Beam predicting the Crobat. Ooh, critical. But Crobat has survived at very low health. Now, I think Quagsire is going to switch into Tentacruel, predicting... I'm not too sure if... let's see. I can't pull up my text. Alright, so... Quagsire is going to switch into Tentacruel. Now... Where's Crobat? Oops. Did not mean to click that. Alright, so moves. What can he learn? Oh, he can learn Giga Drain. Yeah, he can learn Giga Drain. I think Quagsire switched specifically for the Giga Drain. Or, sorry, to avoid the Giga Drain. Alright, so Tentacruel, let's see. And Crobat switched it. So maybe it doesn't have Giga Drain? I don't know. Now, Crawdaunt, I guess you could say Crawdaunt is like the Hoenn version of Kingler. Wow. I mean, Tentacruel took a heap of damage with that Crab Hammer, but yet Crawdaunt took a heap of damage with that Sludge Bomb, which did poison Crawdaunt. Alright. Will Crawdaunt switch? Crawdaunt is going to switch into Sceptile. And Tentacruel is going to go straight for the Surf. Alright. Sceptile might switch, predicting a possible Sludge Bomb. Which Tentacruel... Actually, Tentacruel could do Ice Beam. And I guess Tentacruel didn't want to risk Tentacruel being hurt by a potential Earthquake. Nice. Alright, so there's the Giga Drain. Oh, wow. Wow. Look at that. Can Sceptile be able to knock out Kangaskhan at that range? Maybe. I think that ZD Fire, if he wants to be really smart, he can switch into Tentacruel, so that way Sceptile can be hurt by the Liquid Ooze. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, it wouldn't hurt for ZD Fire to do that. I don't know why ZD Fire is thinking so hard on this. I mean, all he has to do is switch into Tentacruel, and then Sceptile does the Giga Drain, and then Sceptile's going to be hurt by the Life Orb, or will be hurt by the Liquid Ooze. Now, what is Kanga thinking about? That's what I'm curious about. Alright, so Sceptile is going to be withdrawn into Kangaskhan. There we go. ZD Fire was thinking just like how I was thinking, but he probably had some second thoughts. And so sometimes having second thoughts can kind of slow you down a little bit. So yeah. Tentacruel could do a Surf here, but more likely Kangaskhan is probably going to knock out Tentacruel. So Tentacruel should switch into... not Caesar. Wow, he's feeling really confident that Kangaskhan's going to do a Fire Punch. And he did. But it did prove fatal to Tentacruel, and that's not good for ZD Fire, which means if Sceptile does do Giga Drain, now that means that ZD Fire now has free reign. He doesn't have to worry about Liquid Ooze. Alright. So Kangaskhan is going to be withdrawn and Crawdaunt is going to come in. What is Hitmonlee going to do? Mage Punch, which is going to prove fatal. And Scrunchy's going to sack the Crawdaunt. Alright, so Crobat's going to come in. Hitmonlee could do a Rock Slide. Something to that effect. Or Hitmonlee is going to switch. There we go. Quagsire is going to come back into the ring. And there's the Sludge Bomb. Alright. I'm going to predict that Crobat's going to switch. Probably into Hypno? Because Hypno's a really good special defense wall. And thanks to the burn right here, that means that Quagsire's attack is cut by 50%. So that means that Quagsire, if he does do an Earthquake, it won't hurt Hypno as much. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to switch into Hypno. It wouldn't hurt for Scrunchy to switch into Hypno. So Crobat's going to switch into Kangaskhan. Alright. I guess I can kind of see where that came from. I was thinking more along the lines of if Quagsire does another Ice Beam, but I guess Quagsire can work for that. I mean, Quagsire has, Kangaskhan does have some reasonable bulk on it. Alright, so Quagsire is going to come in, and Kangaskhan is going to do a Fire Punch. Which Quagsire is going to be hurt for the burn. Kangaskhan's going to switch directly into Sceptile. And there's the Ice Beam, which is going to prove fatal. Sceptile is out. I'm going to predict that Crobat's going to come back. I knew Hypno was going to come back sometime or another. I didn't think that he would come back now, but guess that's the case. Yeah. Alright, so Hypno is going to switch into Kangaskhan. And Quagsire is going to switch into Scizor. Now, does Scizor have superpower? I think Scizor is kind of afraid to issue it right now. And Quagsire is out, which means that Hitmonlee is going to come in. Now, Kangaskhan is going to go into Hypno. I think that Hitmonlee should switch into Scizor. Hitmonlee should switch into Scizor Belt because Hypno could do a good to a Psychic here. Ooh, a Sceptile. Hypno is going to switch into Crobat, which does outspeed Sceptile. So Fire is going to have to be really careful here. Now, Crobat has insane amounts of speed, but Sceptile has outsped it. And that Crobat is probably not timid, because if it was timid, it would have outsped Sceptile. So Kangaskhan's going to keep doing the Fire Punch, and we're kind of seeing a little hint of a sweep. I'm going to say that right now. On turn number 26, you can already start seeing a hint that there's going to be a sweep. And now, here comes the beauty of Endeavor. Giga Drain. I'm going to predict that there's going to be a HP Fire. I was kind of thinking Endeavor. I guess he doesn't have Endeavor at the moment. Alright. So far, all we know about Sceptile is that he has Giga Drain, HP, which is probably Hidden Power Fire, and Substitute. The fourth move could be Endeavor, which Scrunchy's being really smart here. What he's doing is he's basically walling off Sceptile's Giga Drains. Now Scizor is going to switch into Kangaskhan. And by the way, Scrunchy's playing this really well. But the Giga Drain is going to prove fatal for Kangaskhan. So now it's just going to be basically a fight against Sceptile now, which... yeah, so ZD Fire is going to take the match. Turn number 26. This is already turn number 34. But turn number 26 is where you kind of saw the potential sweep here. You know, I kind of knew there was going to be a sweep at some point. And that, at turn number 26, marked the turn of the sweep. And on that note, this is the Roy Rogers News Channel. Don't forget to comment or subscribe to my channel, like or dislike the content that you see here. And this is the Roy Rogers News Channel signing off. And congratulations, ZD Fire. Fast, accurate, unbiased Roy Rogers News.